Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Social.in podcast. I'm your host Pradeep, and on this episode of Social Media Weekly, we're talking about Facebook and Google getting sued again. We're talking about Apple's secret deal in China, and we're talking about Instagram potentially shifting over to a chronological feed. Let's get started. So for our first story, we're talking about Facebook and Google getting sued again. In January 2021, a company called HD Media, a newspaper owning company, filed a suit against Facebook and Google in West Virginia. Apparently, they were saying that Facebook and Google control 60% of the digital advertising market, true, and that they're squeezing out local publishers from their lawful share of the revenue. Also true. Now, this suit has been joined by over 200 newspapers across the United States, and it looks like finally this time, Facebook and Google will have to pay up their lawful share. For our next story, we're talking about Apple's secret deal in China. Apparently, in 2015, Tim Cook went over to China to sign a secret memorandum of understanding with the country. According to the deal, over $275 billion would be spent by Apple over the next 5 years in developing business in China, and it seems to have worked because now in China, Apple is the largest smartphone seller. It looks like the Chinese government has also got a lot of concessions from Apple along the way. For example, there are disputed islands between China and Japan. Those islands, when viewed in Apple Maps, appear to be bigger in China's side. Also, Apple has a private relay feature which they've had to turn off in China, and many apps have been removed from the App Store because of the Chinese government. For our next story, we're talking about Microsoft Bing and their ethical shopping hub. Now, Microsoft Bing has created an ethical shopping hub only in the desktop version and also only in the UK and also only in the fashion category. Anyway, it's a small hub inside of their main shopping hub, and it allows users to filter through fashion brands based on eco-friendly, upcycled, and fair trade practices. Now, these ratings are coming from an organization called Good On You, and it looks like Microsoft is trying to take a step forward in promoting ethical fast fashion. For our next story, we're talking about Instagram potentially moving over to a chronological feed sometime next year. Now, in 2016, for all of you who are too young to remember, Instagram actually changed their feed over from a chronological feed over to an algorithmically driven feed. Now, after that, all hell seemed to have broken loose because Instagram has been accused of unfairly impacting teenage girls. It looks like Instagram had to be dragged in front of the Senate because Adam Mosseri was facing the Senate in the US, and he said that next year, Instagram could be working on potentially two new features. One is the ability to sort of pin accounts to the top of your feed, and also the other is to shift to a chronological feed. For our final story, we're talking about WhatsApp and cryptocurrency. Now, in 2019, Facebook launched something called Libra, and they had a Libra association and everyone quit. Then they changed it over to Diem or Diem, and they also launched a Novi wallet. Now, the Novi wallet has been integrated with WhatsApp in the US to a limited number of users, and they can use it to send each other the Paxos stable coin. Paxos is a cryptocurrency which is linked to the US dollar, so one Paxos is equal to one United States dollar. That's about it for this week's episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please go over to your favorite podcast application, subscribe to the Social.in podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and we will see you guys in the next episode.